Alright, so we're going to start talking about factoring, and this is the process of changing a sum back into a product. So taking what you did in 8-1, and your result was 18x squared plus 9x minus 2, and how do you change it back into the form of 6x minus 1 times 3x plus 2? So let's take a look at 8-2 together. Alright, so I have two sets of parentheses down, and there's an easy way to look at the first term. So let's look at the 2x squared. What are the factors of 2x squared? They are 2x and x. That's how we get 2x squared. So that's what's going to go in the parentheses in the front. And then what's added or subtracted to them, now notice we have all addition signs, so I'm going to add. So what's added or subtracted to them is going to be, it's going to be the factors of 6. So what are the factors of 6? 6 times 1 and 2 times 3. So we have to think about our result and what we're going to get. So if I do 2x plus 2 and x plus 3, will that work? So now we're going to have to figure it out. And let me erase what I have down here. So we would get 2x times x. That gives me 2x squared. And then I would get 2x times 3, which would give me 6x, 2 times x, which gives me 2x, and 2 times 3, which gives me 6. So when I add 6x plus 2x, I don't get what was in the original expression of 7x. So that means I shouldn't be multiplying this 2x times the 3. I should have the 2 and the 3 in the opposite places. So this is how it should look. 2x squared, or 2x plus 3 times the quantity x plus 2. So if you use the generic rectangle and you multiplied it back out, or you used what I was using called FOIL, then it will work. 2x times x gives me 2x squared. 2x times 2 gives me 4x. 3 times x gives me 3x. And 3 times 2 gives me 6. So 4x plus 3x does give me the 7x. Let's look at example B. Alright, so when we look at this example, there's quite a few factors of the 6. You could get the 6 by 6x times x. You could get it by 2x times 3x. But you have to think about the combinations that are going to give you 7 then also. So then the factors of 2 at the end here are only 2 and 1. So we know we're going to have a set of parentheses that has a factor of 1, I'm going to use blue to go with the same color, and a factor of 2, and we again have all plus signs, so I'm going to go ahead and put those pluses in. But somehow we got to get the 7 in the middle here. So if I take the 6x and put it here, 6x times this 2 is going to give me 12x, and that's already bigger than 7. So I know I can't use that combination. And because the 6 is higher, it's probably not going to be the combination that works. So we're probably going to want to use the 2x and the 3x. So I'm going to go ahead and place 2x and 3x, and we're going to go to the next slide and look at a generic rectangle to see if that worked. Alright, so here's my generic rectangle. And 2x times 3x squared is going to give me 6x squared. 2x times 2 is going to give me 4x. 1 times 3x is going to give me 3x. And 1 times 2 is going to give me 3. So when we write the sum, we would get 6x squared plus 7x plus 2. Sorry, that was not a 3. This is a 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So we did get the expression we started with. All right, so here's example C. Let's take a look at it. If we're going to factor, then we're going to need an x times an x to get x squared, and a 1 times a 1 to get the 1. But somehow I don't think that's going to give me 4 in the middle. X times x gives me x squared, that gives me 1x, that gives me 1x, and that gives me 2. So I get x squared plus 2x plus 2. So this one is not factorable. Alright, so letter D might look a little confusing, however, it's easier than you think. So look at the 2xy. What are the factors? Well, you have 2 times x times y. So you could either have 2x times y, or you could have x times 2y. So for trial and error, I'm just going to go with the first one I wrote, 2x, and then the other factor would be y. So just like with the other expressions, we went to the very end. So we need to get 3y as a product at the end. The ways of getting 3y would be 3 and y. So let's just say I'm going to put y here and 3 here and see if it works. Again, all addition signs, there's no subtraction. So 2x plus y times y plus 3. Let's try it. Alright, so here I have my generic rectangle set up, and I'm going to go ahead and find the products. 2x times y gives me 2xy, 2x times 3 gives me 6x, y times y gives me y squared, and y times 3 gives me 3y. So when I put that together, I get 2xy plus y squared plus 6x plus 3y, and that's the expression I started with.